Michigan State at Iowa. Marco, what should bettors be looking at?
What bettors should be looking at is beware of the trap. This game, when I saw the lines this week, this jumped off the page at me. This is a trap game, and I'll explain why in this video.
So it's a trap game. Who do they want you to bet?
Vegas is begging you to bet Michigan State in this game.
And you don't do what Vegas wants.
No, I want to be on the same side as Vegas because they do pretty good.
So traps are one of the things I think you may be the best guy on the planet identifying. So let's call this the anatomy of a trap. What is it that makes it trappy?
Well, first off, you've got Michigan State is undefeated. So their stock is good, it's solid. They had a little bit of a scare last week, which was understandable. And when we did last week's video, I pointed out, as well on my personal video that I do on the weekends on my homepage, this was a sandwich game for Michigan.
Was that a plug? We didn't endorse that.
Well,
so let's just get it out. MarcoDangelo.com. You do a late breaking video Friday night and Saturday night.
Yes, I do.
Now let's get on to the
Let's get on to it. Well, Michigan State last week was in a bad spot coming off of two big games and then homecoming game, and then played on the road at Northwestern, and then had this Iowa game up this week. Definitely looking ahead to Iowa.
So you're saying Michigan State was in a flat spot. The fact that they won the game separates them from many teams that's been in flat spots, so you don't look at it as a big negative.
No, so their stock is still perfect.
I agree.
Iowa comes off a loss last week that really hurts their stock. They lost to Wisconsin last week. Now, I've got two questions for you. Wisconsin and Michigan State, who's the favorite on a neutral field? I like to play this game with you.
Oh, Wisconsin and Michigan State, I would have to say right now Michigan State would be
Absolutely, because one, they already played this year, and Michigan State beat Wisconsin. All
right, so agreed. Go ahead.
All right, how then can Iowa, who just lost last week to Wisconsin, a team that Michigan State's already beaten, how can Iowa be laying more to the undefeated Michigan State Spartans?
Okay, so what you're saying, and that's a great point, so let's think about this a second. You're saying that Michigan State's better than Wisconsin. You're saying now Iowa's proven themselves right now to be less good than we thought they were entering the Wisconsin game because they were favored and they lost. But now, so you've got the better team with an Iowa's team whose stock is down, laying more at 6.5 than they were last week. Agreed 100%. So I'm thinking as a value better, I love the value. Now you're thinking what?
I'm thinking trap, and absolutely. And what makes it even better is last week the public was all over Iowa. I mean, when we did the videos last week, that's one of the videos that got a lot of talk with the Wisconsin-Iowa. Everybody was on Iowa. Nobody wanted Wisconsin. They expected Wisconsin to be flat after upsetting Ohio State, all the purists. And now there are all those people that had Iowa last week. They're going to be jumping the fence and going to Michigan State. And now I'm switching in the back door, and I'm going to be playing Iowa. And I'm going to be playing Iowa pretty strong this week.
So you switch, and you like the back door.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Oh my.
I'm just listening. That's all I'm doing. All right, let me give you some stats. Maybe try to talk you out of this because I actually, I don't like Iowa here because I don't think that there's a lot of value. But
I might smell a $500 bet, viewers.
No, actually, more I think about this. To me, this is a very solid pass because, one, I actually would like, if this line was what it should be, which 3.5 maybe is what
3.5, 4 tops is where this should be.
I probably like Iowa pretty hard at 3.5 and 4. Now let me give you some reasons why. Iowa has won 4 straight against Michigan State, so that's a reasonably short period of time, but still 4 straight. If when Ohio State beats Michigan 4 straight times, it means something. This means something, and that's ATS. Iowa, the Iowa coach is well regarded. 13 of 16 ATS, so 13 and 3, off an ATS loss. So by definition, an ATS loss means they underperformed, and he seems to be able to turn them around, 13 and 3. And lastly, 16 of 22 in this series have been decided by a touchdown or less. So to me, getting 6.5 means I'm on the right side of a hard-fought rivalry close series. All right, so now that tells me, or if I'm taking the 6.5. So to me at 3.5, I love Iowa. I see your point. They are trying to induce you, it seems, to bet Michigan State. But boy, it strikes me that you're giving away too many points with Iowa. And that's always my concern with your, I love your trap concept. And for anything, for me, it keeps me off those games. But, I mean, let's go back to the San Diego Patriots, which was your first loser and the best bet. And to me, when it went down to 2.5, it made a lot more sense, which on game day, that's what most people got. But at some point, when they're begging you to take a side, that means there's really value there, right? Or at least there's a heavy tariff being placed on the other team to induce you to play the team that you think they're trying to trap you into. How do you balance identifying what Vegas wants, which you do amazingly well, with the fact you're paying a steep price to go against what Vegas wants?
Well, in this game here, there's not a set rule of how I do it, but looking further in this game, I'll tell you one thing. Michigan State is undefeated this year, but they have not played a team as complete as Iowa. Iowa has a good offense. They're a balanced offense. They run and pass the ball. They have a solid defense. The big teams that they've beaten, when they played Michigan, okay, that's one of their marquee wins, Michigan State. Michigan is one-dimensional. They got all offense, no defense. They weren't a physical team. Iowa's a physical team. When they played Notre Dame, Michigan State struggled with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame was able to play smash-mouth football with them. I think Iowa's going to take it to Michigan State.
Michigan State beat Notre Dame, right?
By 3 points.
All right. I mean, it's just, all right, let me ask you this question.
In overtime on a fake field goal.
Let me ask you this question. It caused a heart attack.
It did.
It was a close game. It caused a heart attack. All right. Let me ask you this question. We always talk about, not so much this year, we talk about true lines and fair lines, okay? And what a fair line is, it's going to split the action, all right? People look at it and say, that's fair. You're saying this is not a fair line. A fair line would be 4. Mm-hmm. That would split the action. The fact that it's 6.5 means you're going to get disproportionate action on Michigan State. Now, what is the true line on this game? Because for what it needs to be for this to be a good bet at 6.5, it needs to be 8.5 or 9, or because you're going through 7. Let's say 8.5. If the true line is 8.5. Now you're giving me why Michigan State's way overrated. You're giving me, and I could accept if you tell me that the fair line is 4 and the true line's 8.5, and thus I wish it was 4, but really I'm going to play it because I'm still getting that 2.5 or 2 points of value through 7. What is the true line on this?
The true line
that's going to split the result 50-50.
Well, to me, the line that would split it 50-50 is the 4.
No, it's going to split the results 50-50. Meaning if this game was played 1,000 times, what line would make it where half the time Michigan State covered and half the time Iowa covered?
By my handicapping numbers, I have Iowa better than a touchdown in this game.
Okay, so you're saying then your true line here is 8.5, and thus you're getting 2 points through 7.
Right. I'll throw one more handy. I'm going to give the whole gauntlet of my theories on this game, too. You've heard me talk about the teaser theory a lot, where you take a game and you look at it, and if one side absolutely looks like...
So you tease it both ways. Does one look really attractive? If so, they've probably made it attractive to trap you. Go ahead.
And again, if you look at this, if you tease Iowa to pick, or you tease Michigan State to 13.5. There's a lot of people, because Michigan State's undefeated, would buy into that Iowa could get beat. But how many people really think Iowa's going to blow out this Michigan State team?
Good point. All right. So now this isn't your best bet, is it?
It's not my best bet.
So
I talked a lot.
You like this game pretty strong. Give us your official projection.
31-20 Iowa.
31-20 Iowa. All right. Sounds good. Good conversation, Marco. Next up, all right, well, now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're going to be talking more Saturday college football. We got Auburn at Mississippi.